Hey everybody, welcome back to American History with Mr. Finn. Today, you'll see some words on the board. So the first thing that I want you to do in the video is pause it and go ahead and write all of these down on your piece of paper. Ready, go. Okay, should have had enough time to hit the pause button and have these up here. We'll get to these terms later, but I wanted to make sure that you have them written down first. Because right now we're going to continue. I can stand in the way now of these terms. Right now we're going to continue with the unfolding events of the American colonies versus the English government. Now, if you remember that the English government was trying to get money back because it spent a lot of money on the French and Indian War here in the American colonies. After that, England was in a depression, and we ran through a cycle of what had happened with the Stamp Act. So England, in an effort to get money back, put a tax on stamps, and that really means paper products in general. The American colonists said, no, we're not going to do it because we don't have any representation, if you remember, in Parliament, which is in your notes from last class, which is their Congress, the people that make laws in England. And they said, no, you're just colonists. You're not really English, so you can't have representation. No one needs to be here telling us what you need. You're just colonists. And so the colonists boycotted all paper products. The merchants in England were like, hey, we're losing money. And so, long story short, another term that you had last class was England repealed or rolled back that tax. So that tax was gone away, and the colonists are like, hooray, this is fantastic. However, that's not the end of the story. England is it's a superpower at the time. It is not going to just allow the American colonists to say, oh, we got the better of you, England, now leave us alone. No. They are going to put in another set of taxes because they still will not give up. King George III, the Prime Minister, they're going to get their money back. So we're going to have the Townshend Acts. Now, the Townshend Acts, I would have you look them up, but I'm just going to write. I'm going to do this. They're really called duties. Duties is another term for money or like a tax on something. So you could call them the Townshend Acts. In fact, the colonists actually even call them the Intolerable Acts. Actually, no, these are not the Intolerable Acts. I take that back. I'll get to that in a second. But the Townshend duties, or the taxes, are going to be on lead, glass, and tea. And so these are new taxes, lead, glass, and tea, that England's going to place on the colonists. And so take a guess, everyone. Take a second and think. What do you think the colonists are going to do? Are the colonists going to be happy? No, they're not. Were they happy with the last one, with the Stamp Act? No, they weren't. So what is the only thing, this is going to be a little bit repetitive, what is the only thing that the colonists in America can do if they don't like this? Can they fight? No, they can't. They don't have a military. They're not their own country. They don't have a navy and an army. They're not even a country. They're colonies of England. They cannot fight. However, what they can do is a term we know from last class, which is the colonists will boycott again. Tell me if this sounds familiar. A boycott meaning they're not going to buy any of this stuff. And so, what happened last time? Well, the English merchants who were making money selling things that needed lead, like paint, glass, and tea, are going to say, wait a second, they're boycotting our products. We're losing money, and we're real English people. Parliament, do something. And so they're going to complain to their government. And of course, Parliament is going to do the exact same thing that they did last time, which is, after the boycott, England will, another term we know, again, repetitive, repeal these taxes. Now, if you know anything about England, they're going to repeal, meaning they're going to roll back these taxes. The exact same thing happens again that happened with the Stamp Act. So it's the same process, except one difference. England is going to repeal the Townshend duties on lead, glass, and tea, except one. They're going to leave one. Take a guess. Lead, glass, or tea, which one are they going to leave a tax on? Well, I'm going to tell you. They are going to repeal the tax on lead. So that's gone. So now it's down to glass or tea. They are going to repeal the tax on glass, but they're going to leave the tax on tea because England loves their tea. They're just like, nope, you know what? As a matter of point, we are not going to repeal it all. We're going to leave that tax on tea, which is going to lead to some problems that we're going to look at in your assignment today. But the important thing that I want to get across in today's lesson is England is trying. England is trying to get money back. They are trying to tax the colonists. The colonists are not having it. England is starting to look at, the leadership in England is starting to look at the American colonists like, hey, you guys are acting like spoiled brats. You know, you should do what we ask you to do. You shouldn't be rising up and fighting this or boycotting this or doing whatever. You should just do whatever we say because you're our colonists. And the colonists are over here saying, hey, give us some representation in Parliament. We're just trying to be a part of you, England. If you give us someone to represent us there, to talk to your government about what we need, we're good. We're all in. And England's like, no. You're not real Englishmen. So you just hang out in the colonies, and we're not going to give in. And the colonists are like, we're not going to give in. And so we have these two groups that are just not giving in, and it's starting to get more and more contentious. Meaning it's like getting more hectic. They're getting more upset, more angry with one another about what's going on. Now, we're going to get to what happens moving forward, but we're going to do a fast forward, and I'm going to have you for your assignment today. This is why you wrote down these 5 terms. You are going to find out about these 5 terms. I don't want just a run-of-the-mill definition. I want a description, which, again, a definition might just be a factual thing, but a description is what happened, all right? And that's why each one of these terms is going to be, 2 to 3 sentences. So, what happened? Who was there? Where was it? Some of it right here. We're going to look at Boston. I'll talk about Boston next time. Boston is going to be the center of the American Revolution and these uprisings. But these terms, I want you to give me a description of what they are or what happened because of them or at them or however it works. Because, for example, Lexington and Concord is a place. The Sons of Liberty is a loose organization. You could call it an organization. But I want you to tell me about it. Like, what is it? Where was it? What happened? Those types of things. So a brief description of each. And that's the assignment for today. So again, make sure you get it done today. Participation and attendance is based on it. You guys have been doing a great job. Keep it up, and I'll see you next class.